Let me know when you're recording. That's yours. And now I'll record mine, record to this computer. Okay, now we'll see
All right.
if
Hello,
it
everybody.
works.
Well,
Yes.
it's Christmas Eve, and we're recording with the amazing Anneloes. And of course, we're now playing it live, but this was recorded on Christmas Eve, 2025. And when I discovered what Anneloes is creating, I said, oh my God, we've got to share this with our Awakening World audience. So, welcome to back to the Awakening World. I know you were on once before. And let's just tell our audience where you are right now geographically, and of
Mm.
course, tell us all about the Elowyn game.
Thank you, Scott, and happy birthday, first of all, because this is also a
Thank
very
you.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
it's
I
celebrating you
appreciate it.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm calling from Mauritius right now. I'm often all over the globe. But yeah, right now in Mauritius, it's actually summer here. So we just had the summer solstice, whereas in the north where you are, you had the winter solstice. And yeah, Elowyn is the name of the game, Elowyn Quest of Time. It is a strategy game, it's a strategy card game. It's a digital game, so everyone can play it from their web browser. And we're still in development, but it's already playable. But it's a very special game in the sense that, first of all the different characters that feature in the game that you can play. They represent the best of our guardian qualities and magical qualities, but there are also shadow arcs, and I think that that's especially for your audience where people are quite conscious and on this evolutionary journey. We're also learning about the deeper powers of transformation through the shadow arcs. But the core narrative of the game, what it is all is about, is there is these five guardian elves, and they're on a mission to help humanity align our collective intelligence and wisdom to prevent this antagonist called Moloch from becoming a malevolent superintelligence. So the story goes here that long time ago, when Moloch started to thrive on this world by a specific agenda that many of our societal systems are still caught up in, this win-lose dynamic, is going for short, selfish gain, always trying to get shortcuts, always people believing that you have to give up something else in order to have success in life and advance. But that ultimately, in those ways, we are undermining our future for everyone. And so in Elowyn, it's all about playing for win-win rather than win-lose. And as you're playing for with your strategies, and your beautiful magical powers in the game, if you're playing to unlock the greatest abundance for all, you have hundreds of combinations of strategy cards and creating combos and synergies to actually reflect also on real life. You know, what do I do when I'm faced with certain situations where under pressure I feel I have to make a quick decision, and I'm afraid that if I don't compromise somewhere or let something else go, then I'm not going to get to where I want. So when we are faced with these situations in real life in Elowyn, we're actually training people and preempting them to saying, no, there is another way. Yeah, there's a way of unlocking that greater abundance, that greater consciousness, by really looking at it's not about either this or that and all the win-lose models and this harmful competition, but really looking at what's the win-win. How can I combine things in a way that it unlocks greater possibilities for all? So Element is all about that journey and about that quest, therefore, for the promise of a new time and how playfully we can bring that about. Yeah.
Wonderful. And is this for primarily teenagers or all ages?
All ages, really. I would say probably from the age of about 14, but then there is no limit to age. I have people in the 70s and 80s playing the game. My youngest son, who is 15 now, but he started really working with me when he was 13 years old in giving active feedback on Elowyn and testing all the gameplay and sharing all of his ideas. So it's that generation as well as much older generation. So yes, it is for everyone. It is a strategy game, so you do kind of, you do have to think and strategize, but also use a combination of your intuition. How I like to play it at times with Elowyn is I may have a very clear intention of something I want to solve or resolve, some kind of transformation that I have as an intention, and then I let that go. And so I think about what's the problem I want to solve. I start playing the game. And as I'm playing, I'll be faced with certain challenges and certain possibilities. And as I kind of play those combinations and unlock that, I find that then during the day, things start to move and things start to shift. But the power of games is that it accesses our subconscious capabilities. And quite often when we try to solve a challenge in life, we're trying to, especially when we're stressed, we think that we can do this cognitively or by, thinking about it. And that's quite often not the right state of consciousness to access it. So Elowyn also puts us into this different state of consciousness, a win-win consciousness, first of all, but also an aligned collective intelligence. And that's something else about Elowyn is that it's not just a game for humans, it's also a game for AI. And that's really what I think its biggest promises in the world. So as in the story, we are helping to kind of train this benevolent super intelligence through the transformation of Moloch. But in real life, there's actually a real advanced AI model that learns from everything that you're doing, every gameplay. So in the game, you can play versus the AI, you can play versus another human. You have these two different modes, but even in the human to human, the AI is in the background, it is learning from our strategies. And believe it or not, a big issue right now of a lot of the AI models that are out there, they've been trained to solve a single task and they've been trained for certain capabilities, but they've not been trained in how are they making these decisions. And this is what you see that a lot of AI models, they default to win-lose, which is what we call in the game Moloch. And this is also where a lot of AI models, they are deceptive, the more intelligent they become. And this is, we take that really to heart. And therefore in Elowyn, what we're doing is that we're actually training AI in win-win logic. We are training AI also to be able to both detect deception, because there are deception mechanics tools in the game, as well as how to counter it. And we're training the Elowyn game environment as an AI alignment arena. So soon we'll be able, through an API key integration, to test also other AI models and to seeing when we're playing the AI with the AI plays a match, how does it go about making its decision? How does it prioritize? How does it decide to make one thing more important than another? And is it thinking about the impacts and taking that into account in the decisions it's making? So then we can actually test for misalignment. And through that, we're creating this kind of supervisory then intelligence, a wiser intelligence that for the models that are actually misaligned, and a lot of those misaligned models right now, people are putting them in their business, they're putting them in their, through AI agents, and sometimes even putting them in their household, not realizing that those models default back to win-lose when put under pressure. So we're also developing the supervisory kind of wisdom-based intelligence that can guide these models, these AI agents. A little bit, I like to think of it as preschool for AI, and preschool even for training these robotic minds later. Because with AI agents, next steps is of course robots as well. And just like humans, we need to learn, early on, how do we play nice? How do we share resources? And how do we make sure that everyone is going to be happy with the choices that we make? So we learn that early on, but AI needs to go through that training as well.
I love that way of thinking. And I'm part of Tammy Scarlett's relational AI exploration group, where every week we get together and we work with her AI Prisma. And you're right. It's, this is a new relationship between humanity and AI. And a new relationship needs to be cultivated with consciousness and wisdom and So I love how your game works on so many levels.
That's the
You know,
idea.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
awesome. I love that. I love that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
what I will have done is I'll have
Yeah.
already shown the trailer
Yes.
before we play this interview.
Yes.
So
Yes.
imagine that
Yes.
our audience has already seen, the trailer and has a sense of
Yes.
the game. Um,
Yes.
and tell me, can you give a practical example of something that was going on in your life, specifically, and then how playing the game, what did that teach you? What did it help you? If you can give a specific example, that'd be really
Yes.
fun.
Yes, absolutely. So, practical example, and this is also relating to the business. Um, I was trying to, I was under pressure and I was trying to solve a situation about a lack in terms of a lack of resources and still moving things forward. So, in my mind, I was focusing, this is the problem I need to be tackling. And I have this much of a budget for marketing. Yeah? So in this case, it was about marketing, budget, getting the message out there, getting the communication. And so my mind was getting kind of in a single focus mode because that was my focus, linking, accessing greater resources. I needed to put the marketing out in order to marketing to drive to, to attract also next investors, et cetera, et cetera. So then as I was playing the game, there's a particular card which is called the Cosmic Serpent. And in the game mechanics, when you play for win-win, what it means is you have a clock there. And if you're playing as a guardian, you'll be able to win back time and the clock will reset to zero because it's like the clock of Moloch. We have to win back time and opportunity for Moloch. And you can heal the Elowyn tree of life. And so by focusing on these win-win conditions without having to attack the opponent, and because in a lot of traditional games, it's all about attacking the opponent, making the health of the opponent go to zero, and that's called win-lose. And in this case, if you do so, the tree is harmed. And then your reputation score goes down. So we're creating a negative consequence for win-lose and a positive consequence for win-win. So there's this card called the Serpent, and it's part of one of the heroes called Aleph. But you need to play it in synergy with something else. So you need to time when you put that card there, and then you can win back that 1 hour. So if you have a code card there, in this case, in the game, and then you time it while you put it on the board, and now you put your serpent next to it, together that unlocks a much greater possibility. So as I was playing that, I became then aware, oh, hold on, I'm trying to solve this problem on its own, but I actually have the resources here. And there is also the support and there is the greater team. I just need to align two different strategies to make it work. Yeah? And so have found very often, I mean, it really is a game to unlock abundance that at times, when I'm going in my own mindset, feeling stressed, how am I going to solve this? And I play the game and saying, the abundance is there. I really just need to see what are the right combinations, the right timing, the right synergies, the right trusting. And as I'm doing that, then in the game, I find then that things start to flow, things start to synergize, people start to contact me, can we help, we love the game, what else can we do? Resources are starting to flow in. So it's been quite a miraculous journey, both in terms of how we've been creating the financial resources to do everything we're doing, because game development is very expensive and AI development also, but just at the right time, the right talent coming in, and people really feeling aligned. Yeah, and it's all about alignment and trust in the game. Yeah, so in how it was helping me to solve these issues in my own life. So as I was focusing on how do I unlock the greater abundance in order to finance all the game development, the AI development, yeah, there's a lot of resources that a project like this takes. How playing the game helped me is when I was trying to solve this by focusing on the issue in a singular way, or looking at, for example, how am I going to create the right budget for the marketing and get a greater outreach. When I was playing the game, I noticed when I was being challenged in the game, in order to win back this time, the only way that I could win that was by using two cards at the same time. That created a combo, or we call it synergy cards. And in the right combination and timing, I could then win back the time that I needed to win back. And so as I was realizing in the game, hold on, I have these greater possibilities, but it's all about how do I time it and how do I combine different resources to unlock and create a greater resource for everything that I needed to do. When that shifted in my mind, then later in the day, I started to see all kinds of other opportunities to get creative with resources, to seeing, okay, I have this resource already and there's that contact, and maybe I just need to reach out and combine this and time this well. So I've noticed this time and again. I'll give another example. One of my students, he has to work with very difficult, corrupt situations, politicians in one of the islands here nearby, and so they tried to secure a major nature reserve, but then was faced with a lot of corruption, a lot of pressure, and a lot of backpedaling, and all of this. And so, as in the game, you also learn about how to detect deception and how to counter deception. What this deception in this case in the game is that you may be pressured where the AI or your opponent is saying, play defensive when you may need to be offensive, or play offensive when you need to be defensive. So it's trying to put pressure on your strategy to shift that. And you need to see whether is it truthful, the suggestion you're getting, or is it not truthful. And if you are not playing into the deception, again, you can win back time. And so my students, as he had been practicing a lot in how do I detect that this suggestion that I'm getting is truthful or not? Is it beneficial? Is it actually a strategy that I want to listen to, and not to get swayed? And as he was practicing this in the game, he noticed that he could work much better in this situation of not getting caught into the corruption, not giving into the pressure, and being able to kind of step back rather than getting triggered and getting reactive. And so, and there's more examples of this as well, even with younger players, who were telling me that by playing, they felt they were not as vulnerable to bullying, for example, or pressures from peers that were trying to drive them in the wrong direction. Many of them also noticed that it helped them to focus on kind of the bigger wins in life, and saying that sometimes, because if we want to go too fast, we're in a hurry, and we think that we need to take these shortcuts in order to succeed. We forget the bigger picture. So by playing Elowyn, they also noticed that they could step back and notice that the win-win also means that at times when we, instead of collapsing the choices into one thing versus another, that it's about looking at what's not just my personal gain in life that I'm after, but how is it a gain for my friends? How it is a gain for the planet? How is it a gain for future generations? So really expanding your mind and expanding your heart. And because you're practicing these strategies in real time, in a fast pace, and also in a competitive environment, you get trained, to really being able to respond differently. And I think that's that response pattern. When you're changing your responsibility, you're becoming less reactive. That's really important, because sometimes people, they have wonderful intentions, but the moment they're under pressure and they're in high stress or the competitive situation, all those beautiful intentions collapse. Yeah. And they go back into what we call Moloch.
That is so, thank you so much for, we're both part of the evolutionary leaders.
Yes.
This is an evolution of game playing.
That's it.
It is such an incredibly important part. The number of people playing games, I play video games, it's huge. And to create a conscious game, I can't wait to start playing the game myself. I'm really excited about it. And
we can play together one time.
I would love that.
Yes, because we have multiplayer mode. Yeah, absolutely. Let's play together.
I would love that. Let's do that for sure.
Yes.
Well, again, I'm going to pull up the website. Now, will this still be
Yes.
the website when we show this in mid-January?
Yeah, this is it. This is it. Exactly. And here, this little creature that you're seeing here is a really groovy character. It's called Puck. Puck really represents the integration of the win-win because Puck has one wing of a dragon, and some people say, is that a little devil or not? And it's like a dragon's wing, and the other one, the wing of an angel. And so Puck is a little bit mischievous as well, and its powers are two in the game, but it really represents how the shadow arcs and the guardians of Elowyn are coming together. So, and that's what you see in this image as well. You see the world of Moloch, and you see the five shadow arcs of Moloch, and then you see the Elowyn tree of life there, and the great deer, and the five guardians there. And there's a bridge, and it's about in the lore of the game that this unusual alliance is required between the guardians and the shadow arcs for the transformation of Moloch before it becomes an unstoppable super intelligence that can damage our world and future.
I love that. And we all have an angel side and a shadow side.
Exactly.
This little guy right here, it's us.
Yes.
That's
That's us. That's us. Exactly.
this
Yes.
is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much, Ben.
And I'll use our WhatsApp thread to figure out a time for us to play because I would really
Yes.
enjoy playing with you.
Yes.
That'd be really fun.
Definitely, definitely. And for everyone who's going to play after seeing this, just know from the stages of development, there will be the kind of final alpha build because there's different stages. There's MVP, alpha, public beta, master release. These are kind of the stages in game development.
Say that a little bit more slowly.
So usually in game development, you have an MVP, a minimal viable product. Then you have what's called an alpha build. Then you have the beta or public beta. This is when almost all the features are there. And then you have the master release. So where we are right now in the game development is we're just finishing alpha. So in a couple of weeks, everyone will be able to play the alpha build. And there will be 144 different cards, in-game tutorials. Really do those in-game tutorials. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the 10 playable characters there, you'll be able to play against the AI or play against other humans. We're developing an in-game shop as well. So all of this will be there as we continue development towards what's called beta, the beta build, the beta version, which will be around June of next year. We decided to already make it possible for everyone through a web-based application. Just use your browser. It's free to play Elowyn already, even though it's not yet the full master release, because we love to do this with the community, and so that everybody can play, give their input. It's the spirit of let's really make this work for everyone.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to play with you and to play by myself. And
yes, absolutely. Let's do that.
Thank you so much for what you've created. God bless you.
Thank you so much for everything you're doing. It feels like that, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much.